Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Dean GW and today we're going to be talking about, do you really exist? This topic is going to be a strange one because what do you mean? How do I not exist? Are you serious? Like, why are you asking me this question? Well, first of all, what do I mean by do you actually exist, okay? By you, I mean all the collection of all the things that you think that you are. I don't mean your body, right? Because you might say, oh, okay, you're saying that I don't exist, like I'm a hologram or something that you can, touch through or something like that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying that, like these stories that you created about yourself, about your character, about who you think you are, or about who other people think that you are. So for example, you're thinking, oh, I am the person that cannot trust myself. I am the person that cannot wake up on time. I am the person who's always late. I'm the person who's an outsider. I'm the person who does not fit in society. I'm the person that does not know how to do yada yada, like all of these things, okay? If you think that you are these things, then I'm gonna ask you to challenge yourself and to actually find out actually for yourself if that is the case. Maybe you are not even existing. And I'm gonna give you 3 reasons for you to start questioning whether you, like that ego construct that you think is you, is actually real. Is it you or not? Well, that's up to you to decide. First of all, if you'd like to skip to the summary section or maybe the most important points out of this video, then please find them all around me, or you can find it in the progress bar below or in the description box, okay? So let's then get started. The first reason that you don't exist, or that thing that you think you are, is not actually a real construct, a real structure, is that there are some words. Just notice this thing. There are some words that are pointing to real things, and there are other words that point to fake things. So what are the real things? For example, an apple, a pen, a table, right? These are the things that you can actually see, smell, hear, taste, touch, right? And your senses are not going to lie about this. But then there is another thing. There are words to point to some abstract things, like I. What does I mean? I is actually a convention of speech, this word I, okay? Like for example, when you are breathing, of course, you're not, like nobody's going to be saying breathing happens, right? Or this body breathes. Nobody's saying this. We are taught and actually indoctrinated into saying, I am breathing. And you might think, okay, what's the big point? What's the big deal about this? Yeah, I am breathing, so what, right? The thing is, it kind of creates a breather. Just notice when you say, I am breathing, that kind of means that there's a breather. There's someone who's breathing. There's someone who's controlling the breath, right? Breathing in and breathing out. It's like a manager of your breath, or a controller or user of breath. You might think that you are in control of it, but guess what? If we really think about it, then most of the time you're not even doing the breathing, right? You're not consciously breathing in and breathing out. This is just happening automatically by default. You are not in control of this, and you don't have to be in control of this. It's kind of being done for you. And can you see that this word I in the statement, I am breathing, is just a word, it's just a label. It's not the truth. It does not mean that you are the one breathing. It's just how we are communicating with the world, right? But this I does not exist here, other than just a word, just a label that kind of points to something like a breather, but this breather does not exist. So the problem here is that the longer you say, I am breathing, right, the more you are going to create the illusion of this breather. of this manager or controller of your breath, right? Of not your breath, of the breath. And here's the thing, you might think that it's not a big problem, it doesn't seem like a big problem, but when the same thing happens not with breathing, but with thinking, for example, there's a thought, and you really think that it's your opinion, it's your thought, then you are going to take it personally. You're going to defend it, you're going to argue for it, you're going to try to create wars with someone else, like, verbal wars, or cry or take it so personally, just because you thought that this opinion is you. You've been identified with it. And, it's like people that fight for their opinion for no other reason other than just to be right. And this is what I'm talking about. It's their identification. They are identified with it. And also, if I'm going to ask you, can you show me an apple, right? If you have an apple in front of you, you are going to be able to show it to me. Or if you just make a Google search, for example, you're going to find, okay, this is an apple, right? You can easily point to it. But then show me yourself. Can you find this so-called self, or this so-called I, me, mine? Where is it? Is it behind your eyes? Is it in your chest area, stomach area, or is it all your body, or where is it specifically? You're probably not going to find it. And if it feels like it exists, if it feels like it has like a solid location, well then guess what? It's just a feeling or a sensation. But remember when you were a child, you probably, like most children, felt like Santa is real, right? You really felt it in you. Yeah, and maybe you even had a sensation, and you definitely had thoughts about Santa. But that didn't make Santa real, right? So thoughts about Santa exist, but Santa doesn't exist. Feelings about Santa exist, Santa doesn't exist. And sensation about Santa exists, but still Santa does not exist. And notice that it's the same thing about you. You have thoughts about yourself, about that thing that you think you are. You have feelings about yourself. You have sensations even in your body. Oh, that's me, right? But where is it? Can you find it? Can you find its location? It's kind of crazy that we are defending something that we cannot even find. But because I feel it exists, that means it exists. Well, the same thing with Batman or with Spider-Man. Like Santa is as real as Batman or Spider-Man. And as you, actually, if you will be able to investigate it deep enough. Now, another reason why you don't exist, why that construct does not exist in the form of you, is that when you're thinking about yourself, like if someone asks you, okay, who are you? You're going to have a specific picture or image of yourself, right? But guess what? Other people are going to have other images of you. And there are as many people as there are opinions probably of you, right? Probably there's not going to be like two exactly identical images of you. So because every single person has like a different image of you and you have a different image of yourself, that kind of tells you something. Maybe it's not so solid. It's not like a solid thing that you're looking at, right? Something that is moldable, something that is changeable. And my question is, do you actually exist in your exact interpretation of who you think you are in other people, in other people's interpretation? Or is this interpretation just in your imagination, just in your interpretation? So basically, when you have an image of yourself, that's kind of like you being a subject and you are perceiving an object. You are having thoughts about this object, sorry. So you're having like an image of yourself and you have evaluations or definitions, expectations of yourself, right? Like you're comparing yourself to others, your image to other images, of course, of other people. And these are the objects. But then other people are having their own objects. So they're looking at you with their definitions of you, with their expectations of you, with their evaluation of you, with their comparisons, with their analysis when it comes to you, right? So they have their own thoughts, feelings, and sensations about you, which may or may not match your own thoughts, feelings, and sensations. And guess what? Your authentic nature is outside the confines of subject-object relationships. And you're literally becoming like nothing. And therefore, when you awaken, you notice that you didn't awaken. There's never a you that can awaken. That is impossible because there's no subject and therefore no objects, nothing there. You're just outside of this paradigm. And the third reason is that a child, when the child is born, it does not have a sense of I. Notice that this sense of I am this, I am that, this is something that is learned, that is something that is taught, and that is something that is implanted later on. Not in the beginning though, because in the beginning there's just pure consciousness, pure input from the world, and the child does not filter it out because the child does not know how to filter. That's not natural for us to filter it by default. This is something that we have to learn. And the child does not filter because they don't know words. They don't know words. That means they don't describe the world. And when you don't describe the world, you don't filter it. You don't separate. And when you don't separate, you just see the wholeness of everything. And when you see the wholeness of everything, you just feel great. You just feel amazing. You feel like you belong. And there's no such thing as identification. Like the child does not even know that it's a child, does not know what a human is. So there's no identification with I am a human, and then not only that, I'm specific human from that specific area or that specific even family, which means I have to, you know, listen to these rules because these rules are important in my specific family. See, my family, right? Or my nation, this is my nation. And then people say, oh, that's my opinion. This is not your opinion. Like most of your opinions are not even your opinions, just so you know, okay? Or this is my place of birth, and so on and so forth. And you know what? There are interesting examples where children are not yet hypnotized, and they are, I think, resisting a little bit this. And what they're doing is, instead of saying, I need to go to eat, I want to eat, they say, Johnny needs to eat. So they refer to themselves as Johnny. Johnny needs to eat. Johnny needs to go potty, for example. Or Johnny wants to go play with other people, right? This is quite fascinating because children feel that there's something else that is trying to overpower or overthrow their connectedness to everything. And they feel this and they are resisting this, of course. And some children look at themselves, and I remember it in my childhood as well. When I would look in the mirror, sometimes I would not recognize this face that I'm looking at. Even right now that happens as well. But when I was a child, that was more frequent. So I would look there and not recognize my own face. So what does that mean? I was seeing this face without a seer, if that makes sense. If it doesn't, that's okay. But there, I did not have like a sense of identity. And I think a lot of people can relate to this. And that's why I was not recognizing myself, right? And by the way, if you had these quite interesting moments of, for example, not recognizing yourself in the mirror, or not using the word I, but instead using your own name, right? The name that your parents gave you, then please let me know in the comment section below. It's always interesting to read your comments, of course. And that's it. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you have some questions, please let me know again in the comment section below. And if you think this video might be beneficial to some of your friends or family members or someone that you care about, please share this video with them, yeah? And here's the summary, and see you in the next video. Thank you and goodbye.